Hello, and welcome to Prairie Pulse. Coming up a little bit later in the show, we'll hear a musical performance from Matthew Griswold. But first, joining me now is our guest, Laura Anhalt, who is the Vice President for the Badlands Conservation Alliance. Laura, thanks for joining us today.
Certainly.
As we get started, tell the folks a little bit about yourself and maybe your background.
Well, my dad was in the Army, so we moved around a lot. And I was born in North Dakota only because my mother wanted my grandfather, her father, to deliver me because he's a doctor, and she was his first child and I was his first grandchild. So I only lived in North Dakota for 2 weeks and then went back to Fort Polk, Louisiana, where my dad was stationed.
Yeah, but then after all that, you ended up back in North Dakota.
I did, because my dad said, we're residents of North Dakota, I'm paying in-state tuition, and you're going to go there. Okay. And I did, and I've stayed.
Yeah. Well, you're Vice President with the Badlands Conservation Alliance. What is the Alliance and what's its mission?
It is, Badlands Conservation Alliance is a voice for wild places in North Dakota. And we keep tabs on the siting of refineries and bridges and roads and things that we think could harm wildlife and their migration and their habitats. And our mission is to get the word out that wilderness is disappearing at an alarming rate. And we need to keep wild places, we need to keep some wild places wild in North Dakota. And the oil and gas people are building roads and impeding on wildlife. We also have, and this is the fun part, is camping and hiking trips. And you don't have to camp, you can hike and stay in a motel. But we hike and on public lands. And I encourage people to join, if only for the outings, but also we send out action alerts. And oftentimes it's just as simple as writing a letter to a state official or a county official that you're for or against something. So
how many people work and volunteer with the
There's only
Alliance?
One paid employee. Jan Swenson is our executive director. There are about 350 members and 8 people on the board, which I am one. Okay. And volunteers, I mean, as needed, I don't know as a number, it depends on the project or what's happening.
Well, we'll get into some of that later then, but so how is BCA funded?
Grants and memberships.
Okay.
Period, the end.
Okay, so no state funding, no federal funding?
Oh, no.
Okay. Can you talk a bit about how you mentioned the oil industry impeding into the Badlands, and you know, maybe are there any legalities of this?
Well, they have to have roads to get to the wells. That disrupts wildlife. There is traffic and dust. There's flaring, which causes the night sky to not be the night sky. And not to mention it's waste. This is not being used, this natural gas, and it's contributing to pollution.
Yeah, but are these things, are they being fought over in the courts?
No, the Public Service Commission, having to do with the Davis Oil Refinery, the Meridian Company, the people who want to build an oil refinery 2.5 miles from the entrance of Theodore Roosevelt National Park. They are incredibly disingenuous. An administrative law judge told the PSC that no, they don't have the right to the siting. It's 55,000 barrels a day that Meridian said that they were going to process. Well, the Public Service Commission looks at 50 barrels a day that they have the right to cite, to help with the citing of it and look at everything and make sure everything is okay. And then Meridian said, oh, no, they changed it to 49,500. a little disingenuous, just under the 50,000, and said, no, thank you. Nope, we don't need siting authority. We're just gonna do this. The legislature set it at 50,000 barrels a day. They had to pick a number. They had to pick barrels a day. It's arbitrary. It could be changed. But as it stands right now, an administrative law judge said that they cannot cite it. You can't. And these people told, Meridian told their stockholders that it was even going to be more barrels than that, and that they planned on expanding. But the judge said, well, we can't go by what, we're going to go by what's on this piece of paper, and they say they're going to be under 50,000, so it's all good. Well, it's not good. I am so mortified to be from a state that has let this get this far, that we would actually have an oil refinery outside Theodore Roosevelt National. I mean, there will be lights, there'll be sounds. You can't tell me there's not going to be some kind of plume. I just can't believe it. And please call the PSC and ask them to, or email or whatever. Fight to cite. Fight to cite. They need to look into this. It's not the best spot for this. There's something screwy going on here.
So is it in the court system? Will it end up in the court system?
We hope it will end up in the court system. It's not now. Apparently the Public Service Commission could take it to court, and that's what we want. We want this to be looked at. It's a ridiculous place for a refinery.
Okay. Well, then I think if people want more information, they should get involved, I guess. Let's move on. What is the Prairie Legacy Wilderness?
It is Dakota Prairie grasslands. It has to do with grasslands. And in the early 1970s, there were 500,000 acres of land that could be designated wilderness. And by 1977, it was half gone. And now there are only 40,000 acres that can be designated wilderness. And that means that there are no roads on it, nothing's been built, it hasn't been leased. Nothing can go on that land and be able to remain being able to be a designated wilderness. And the Congress has to do this. This is something we'd really love to do, designate this 40,000 so it's safe from the oil industry, and it will only be 1/10 of 1% of the land in North Dakota. Can't we designate, at least that much wilderness?
Okay, and what will it take to make that happen?
Congress, I'm not sure. We need to, it needs to go, there needs a bill. It needs to happen. And I'd just like to read something that Lyndon Johnson, President Johnson, upon signing the Wilderness Act of 1964, said, if future generations are to remember us with gratitude rather than contempt, we must leave them something more than the miracles of our technology. We must leave them a glimpse of the world as it was in the beginning, not just after we got through with it. And especially the oil industry. It's just full bore running rampant wherever they want. The state has not, I think it's the state's responsibility. We can take care of ourselves, but we haven't. We've just let them, the oil industry, have whatever they want.
Well, there's another project here. What about Highway 85? What about the Highway 85 issue?
Highway 85, in a nutshell, it's going from Watford City to Williston. They want a 4-lane. The thing that drives us insane is they want to put 4-lane. It will be in part of the north unit of Theodore Roosevelt National Park. And we believe that the Little Missouri State Scenic River Valley and the Theodore National Park, the north unit, that there could be like the 3 lanes where you have an opportunity to pass. in that area. Why does it have to be 4-lane the entire way? Can we, and this would, and if they did 4-lane, they'd have to have wildlife crossings of some sort, whether it's underneath or over or whatever. We just hope they don't 4-lane that area.
Okay.
But
when are they talking about that project moving forward?
well, I don't think they have the funds. We need federal funds, and they're planning like it's going to happen. I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, you mentioned bridges and other things. What about the Billings County Bridge?
That is the last time people got a chance to for public comment was in 2012. And the county said that the bridge was needed for oil and gas development, and they estimated that 1,000 trucks a day would go over that bridge. Now they are claiming tourism and emergency response for the reason for the bridge. There are just so few people who live there. But they have no statistics. They have no statistics to back it up. We're worried that the Little Missouri River Valley, it's just a road and a bridge. It just goes into the heart of the Badlands. It's going to go into the heart of the Badlands. And they would have to do this eminent domain. It's the Short family, it's 3 or 4 generations. It's this beautiful bottomland, and that's another thing Badlands Conservation Alliance does. One of our outings was a tour of where this bridge would go by a member of the Short family. It's a beautiful, beautiful bottomland. It just hurts me so much to think of a road and a bridge and trucks and dust and wildlife interruption being there. And they don't want it. The family does not. It would be forced upon them.
Mm-hmm. With that said, though, how do you balance conservation with economic development and of course, the necessary infrastructure for that?
And the balance in that question, there is no balance. They have just planning. There has been no planning. They okay those permits for wells, and when they've okayed those permits, they have to have roads to get there, and there has been no attempt at a thoughtful planning of the oil industry and western North Dakota.
You know, what are fracking water permits?
Well, they're permits to get water either out of the ground, to blast, however they do that under the ground to get the oil. We are concerned with they can also draw it from the Little Missouri River. The Little Missouri River is the most fragile little thing. You can't even canoe on it year round. I mean, sometimes it's just a trickle. And we're very, very concerned about taking water. I mean, ranchers have always had the right to do that. But now they want to give, or the oil industry, the right to that precious little river water.
So has the state legislature done enough or dropped the ball or with all this expansion, or is it more of a federal matter?
I don't know why it would be federal. The state, I believe the state has dropped the ball. They have not planned. They're just full bore. Go. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you think the majority of North Dakotans are aware of this issue, or are they just somehow not keeping up with it or not hearing it?
Yeah, I don't think they're hearing it. And part of our mission is to get the word out that wilderness and wildlife need our help. No, I don't think they do. That's why I'm here today, you know.
Well, you are here telling that. Can you talk, you mentioned outings. Can you talk about some of the Alliance outings and how people can join in or get involved? Yes.
I joined after I retired because I wanted to do something for North Dakota. I wanted to help with the wilderness, and I knew what the oil and gas industry was doing to western North Dakota. So I joined, and these outings were just an added bonus. We camp and hike on public lands in the park and outside, and And it's just wonderful. You'll be going on this hike and you'll see a plant and you'll go, wow, I wonder what is that flower? And somebody will go, well, Connie will know that. Go get Connie. Connie, come over here. And she will tell you what that plant is. We have people, we've had a geologist. He can tell you why this is slumping and what this strata means. Birds, you see a bird. Oh, that's a yellow warbler. And Lillian knows about that. And stars, constellations, when you're camping at night. I mean, these people are wonderful people and care about wilderness and the outdoors. The last outing, I couldn't go. My husband went, and there actually was a burning coal vein with smoke. And I wanted to go on that one. I didn't see that one, but and you need to join, people. You need to join Badlands Conservation Alliance. We are just to get our action alerts so that you can feel like you're doing something. And it's just as simple as please don't build an oil refinery outside Theodore Roosevelt National Park, right out. Please don't do that. Boom, the end. Email, done. You've done something. We need to tell the people in power that we don't want to stop. Don't do this.
If people, going back to your outings, because kind of following up with that, if people want to get involved with the outings, do they have to be a member, or do they just have to find out about it, or what's? Oh,
nobody's asked that. We would not turn. I'm sure we would not turn anybody away, but it would be nice, and it's like any amount, of money to join. Just that little bit of commitment, but no, you would not be turned away if you wanted to come on an outing and check us out or something.
Okay. What is Keeping All the Pieces outreach program?
That is a little DVD. It's only 15 minutes about what the oil industry is doing in Western North Dakota and what's happening to wildlife and what we feel needs to be done. Our executive director and a person from it's Badlands Conservation Alliance and the North Dakota Wildlife Federation together that did this. And they have gone around and given presentations in different places. And actually, if you have a service organization, that this little thing is on the road, and if you have a Kiwanis or an Elks or whatever, we would come, and show this and explain this and help educate about wilderness disappearing.
So, okay, if people do want more information about Badlands Conservation Alliance, where can they go? Who can they contact?
Yes, it's the badlandsconservationalliance.org. And you can find all information there, and Jan Swenson monitors it if you want to leave comments, or badlandsconservationalliance.org.
Okay. Well, Laura, thank you for joining us today, and best of luck to you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Stay tuned for more. Matthew Griswold is proud of his successful transition from U.S. Army soldier to singer-songwriter. His original music contains powerful messages that he appreciates sharing and performing to audiences across Minnesota.
But don't ever give. I looked down before him, and time dragged along a season of pleasure where there's no right or wrong. It's where you go to heal your son. It's where you go to hold your Quran. It's where you go to soothe your sin. It's where you go to please your grin. Desires. My mind was jaded. All I saw was gold. There's no need to cross-check. I do what I'm told. I just turn the portrait in disbelief, with my own reluctance to keep faith on her feet. It's where you go to heal your son. It's where you go to hold your ground. It's where you go to soothe your sin. It's where you go to please your grin. Desire. Up with someone who told me to love. I didn't feel the pleasure as I looked above. No, I don't remember if I even prayed, but there spoke the godsend from my bed she laid. It's where you go to heal your son. It's where you go to hold your Quran. It's where you go to soothe your sin. It's where you go to please your grin. It's where you go to heal your son. It's where you go to hold your Quran. It's where you go to soothe your sin. It's where you go to please your grin. Desire. Today my eyes are open wide. Today my eyes are open so that I can see the sunshine dripping from the sky. And with him I believe in all I see. With him I'll have faith in all that be until they're gone. Today my hands are open wide. Today my hands are open so that I can feel the raindrops splatter on my skin. And with them I know all the things I've done. With them I know what I will become until they're gone. Today my heart was open wide. Today my heart was open so that I could feel the kind of love I've never had before. And with it I will be a better man. With it I give everything I can till it's gone, till it's gone, till it's gone, till it's gone.
Well, that's all we have on Prairie Pulse for this week. And as always, thanks for watching.
For Minnesota Legacy programs are provided by a grant from the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund, with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4th, 2008, and by the members of Prairie Public.